It was supposed to be just another Monday morning at the Manhattan Criminal Courthouse, a building wrapped in gray stone and routine, where justice is argued in airtight rooms and everyday people pass through metal detectors on their way to jury duty, traffic court, or the drama of a loved one's trial. But at 9:37 a.m. on what should have been an ordinary spring day, the air turned electric, frozen with panic. As a sharp cry split the air, a sound so raw and human it made even the most seasoned bailiffs flinch. Before we begin today's story, please let us know where you are viewing from. Please remember to subscribe if you like this video. Two court security officers were suddenly down, their uniforms drenched in blood, gasping, struggling to comprehend how a blade had found its way into one of the most secure government buildings in the city. And as panic spread, the man responsible darted through the corridor, his hands stained, his expression unreadable, not enraged, not even afraid, just calm, disturbingly calm. And now, hours later, the question echoing through New York and beyond was simple yet horrifying. How could this happen in a place like this? If you're watching this and you think public spaces like courthouses are truly safe, keep watching, because the truth we uncover in this story will change that belief forever. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and stay with us until the final second, because what lies beneath this brutal attack isn't just a man with a knife, it's a system that never saw him coming. The suspect, Jalen Reddick, age 31, was not new to the criminal justice system. In fact, he'd spent more days in that building than most public defenders, arrested for minor offenses, repeatedly evaluated for erratic behavior, always brushed off as unstable but harmless, the kind of repeat offender the system watches but doesn't fear, and that complacency proved fatal. Because Reddick wasn't there for a petty violation this time, he was scheduled to begin trial for a home invasion in Queens where a mother and her 6-year-old daughter were tied up and terrorized for 3 straight hours while he ransacked their apartment. He had nothing left to lose and everything to destroy, and unknown to court officers, he had spent the last several weeks plotting, studying the patterns of security, timing the shift rotations, and most importantly, figuring out how to bypass the one thing that should have stopped him: the metal detectors. He came in dressed like every other detainee, shackled but silent, head down, no signs of resistance, but he had concealed a ceramic blade, one that metal detectors can't detect. Hidden inside a hollowed-out bar of soap he carried in a small plastic bag marked medication, and the officer who checked his belongings never imagined soap could cut through flesh, but it did. And it did so fast that no one even saw the first strike until Officer Jamie Rivas staggered back, clutching her neck, blood spilling between her fingers, and then Officer Charles Beaudry lunged to help and took a deep stab wound to the side, puncturing a lung, collapsing beside her as Jalen bolted down the east corridor. If you're already shocked, don't go anywhere, we're just getting started. Comment below if you believe this kind of weapon should be illegal in all courtrooms. And make sure you've hit the like button to support truth-telling content that exposes institutional failure. The incident was captured on 3 separate surveillance cameras, grainy footage that has now become the centerpiece of a full-blown investigation. The first shows Reddick standing calmly by the courtroom door, his eyes shifting left to right, calculating, waiting until only 2 officers stood in his section. The second shows the brutal moment Officer Rivas turns her head and he lashes out like a coiled spring, slicing from shoulder to collarbone in one motion, and the third shows Officer Beaudry stepping in just seconds too late, his body twisting in pain as he falls, the attacker sprinting past him, dropping the soap blade only when another officer tackled him from behind and forced his face into the floor tiles. But by then the damage was done and the message was clear. Security had failed. This wasn't a spontaneous act of rage, it was a meticulously planned attack, carried out by someone who knew exactly when, where, and how to hurt the system most. Officer Rivas, a 42-year-old mother of 2, was rushed into emergency surgery, while Officer Beaudry, just 29, lay unconscious for hours in the trauma bay with his family praying outside. And when detectives searched the holding cell Reddick had occupied just moments before the assault, they found pages of scribbled notes beneath the bench. Maps, routines, weak points, and chilling phrases like, "Today they bleed," and "Let the courtroom remember my name." Share this video if you believe our security system needs to do better, because what we're uncovering next will terrify you. The weapon he used, a ceramic blade, is legal in many states, often sold online as a tactical self-defense item, and shockingly, not flagged by metal scanners in most courthouses unless specially configured. And Reddick knew this, because court records now reveal he attempted to enter the building twice before with different versions of non-metallic weapons, each time setting off no alarms. Each time bluffing his way through inspections with plausible excuses. And now internal documents show that his case had been marked non-violent in the security system due to a clerical error filed months earlier, meaning the officers assigned to him that day had no reason to assume danger. No extra guards, no specialized screening, nothing but routine. And in court, routine can be deadly. One of the officers assigned that morning had even expressed concerns about understaffing the day before in a message to his union rep, stating, "We're stretched too thin. Something's going to happen eventually." And those words now hang in the air like a prophecy fulfilled. Tap that notification bell if you want updates on this case in real time. We will follow it to the end and keep the pressure on the system that allowed this to unfold. In the hours after the stabbing, the courthouse was placed under lockdown, and dozens of cases were postponed as agents from the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, and NYPD's counterterrorism units swept the building, not because they suspected a larger terrorist plot, but because they feared Reddick might not be working alone. Multiple detainees claimed he had been speaking with someone on the outside, passing cryptic messages during visiting hours, and even receiving manila envelopes through the legal mail system. And though no clear evidence has linked another suspect, investigators believe the attack may have been part of a larger campaign to disrupt proceedings or target specific court personnel. The judge assigned to his case has since been placed under protection after his name was found underlined 3 times in Reddick's notes, with a phrase next to it that simply read, "Last chance." We don't want to alarm you, but the truth is, most courthouses are only secure in theory, and this story proves that a determined attacker can still slip through the cracks. Like this video to raise awareness, and tell us in the comments, should every detainee be treated as high risk until proven otherwise? Today, Officer Rivas is out of surgery but faces a long road to recovery, while Officer Beaudry remains in critical condition, and a GoFundMe launched by their families has already surpassed $100,000, supported by fellow officers, city residents, and strangers moved by the sheer randomness of the violence. And meanwhile, Jalen Reddick sits in solitary confinement at Rikers Island, under suicide watch, still refusing to speak to authorities, still demanding to represent himself in court, and, according to his lawyer, he claims the justice system is corrupt and that his actions were the only language it understands. And now prosecutors are pushing for a terrorism enhancement, arguing that this wasn't just a violent crime. It was an intentional disruption of the legal process, designed to send a message, and that message has been received, loud and clear. But the real question remains. How many more Jalen Reddicks are out there, watching, waiting, learning the flaws in our system before striking? Subscribe now if you haven't already, because the next time someone brings a blade into a courthouse, it might not be a single attacker or a single day. It could be coordinated, and it could be worse.